This is Rob Lawrence for Prodigy EMS on site at the North Carolina EMS Expo 2023, and I'm delighted to be sitting here at the booth of the National EMS Museum and talking to Fred Claridge. How are you, Fred?
Good, thank you, Rob. How are you?
Great. So just give us the backstory, first of all, of the National EMS Museum and, its origins.
Okay, so about 16 and a half years ago, a group of EMS folks got together and decided there really isn't a museum devoted to EMS. There are a lot of museums devoted to fire departments. There's a National Law Enforcement Museum, but there really isn't one for EMS. So they got together and put together this organization. And we've been around for about 16 and a half years.
So, of course, the museum isn't a place, it's a being.
Correct. Right. We would like to have a brick and mortar museum someday, but that is a few big donors down the road. So right now we have an online presence where we have a lot of exhibits online and archives, and we have equipment stored away and that kind of thing. But someday we'd like to have a brick and mortar museum.
But that said, of course, if you have a major conference or a gathering or something going on in your locality, you can still call you up and get some artifacts.
Yeah, absolutely. And we also have another project that we're working on, a mobile museum, where we're going to have a fifth wheel trailer. And we hope to have that funded as well. We need some good sized donors for that as well. And then we would be able to take that all over the country to various conferences, to state houses, to ambulance services, basically to tell the story of EMS.
So you have a lot of artifacts, and do you have a favorite piece?
You know, not really. They're all favorites of mine. We have an ambulance, which may be my favorite. It's a Packard, an old Packard from the 50s. We're also we're always raising funds, and we're raising funds to restore that as well. It is well enough put together now that we have managed to take it out to a few conferences and show it to people. It's an old style ambulance, so we love it.
That's fantastic. So obviously you're a 501c3. So how can people follow you? And more importantly, how can people donate to this amazing cause?
Absolutely. You go to EMSmuseum, oneword.org. And right on the front page, there are a couple of buttons, either to join as a member, which is where we get most of our funding nowadays.
Yeah.
And there's also a button to donate. And so we don't get any government funding or anything like that. We are completely dependent on donations. So I urge anybody who's interested in the EMS story to go to our page. Again, it's emsmuseum.org, and donate to us.
And of course, we can read more. You have the EMS Historian magazine. How do you subscribe to that or get that?
Any member gets a subscription to the magazine, and then we also send them out to potential donors, sponsors, and that kind of thing. It's our second issue. We started a couple of years ago. We're now working on issue number 3, and it's a good way for us to fly the flag of the museum, to let people know, hey, we're out there. This is what our EMS history is about. In the journal as well, we're also trying to not just talk about history, but what's going on in EMS currently, and maybe even a little bit about what may happen in the future.
Wonderful. So the standard Rob ending question, is there anything I've forgotten to ask you or anything you want to tell me?
No, I don't think so. I think the basic thing for us is what we would like to see as an organization is that the level of donations matches a little more closely the level of enthusiasm that people have for the idea of the museum and the museum itself. We really need donations, and if you have some deep pockets out there and you'd love to give to us, we would love to accept your donation so that we can grow to the next step as an organization and a museum.
Wonderful and well said, Fred Claridge. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, Rob.
So this is us at Prodigy EMS on scene at the North Carolina EMS Expo. I've been Rob Lawrence. This has been Fred Claridge. Don't forget, if you have deep pockets, we want you to dig deep into them. So for now, Rob Lawrence, Prodigy EMS, signing off. Back to you.